Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/am I the asshole, where OP kicked out his cheating girlfriend. Let's begin. My aunt accused me of having a crush on her, so I made sure she knew how right she was. Posted by Reddit user Spinactic.
Hello, I have a completely chaotic dumpster fire for a family. If it isn't one thing, it's the next, and as such, I do not visit my family unless forced or on holidays, because they are invited despite my suggestions. Here more recently, last summer I believe, my aunt got into a problem with me, the eldest of my siblings, and my eldest younger sister because my aunt felt it was her right to bully and abuse my youngest sister through her own children and their phones. Which okay, that was a thing, but this post isn't entirely about that. I called CPS because of some allegations that came my way about the treatment of my aunt's child, and because of that she was trying to figure out who did it and was gossiping with my elder cousin, her adult stepdaughter, about who it could be, and said, and I'm quoting, "Well, it could have been OP, she does have a crush on me." When my cousin looked flabbergasted at such a ludicrous statement, my aunt's 9-year-old daughter pipped up, "It's true. She really does. What the actual fuck?" So not only is my aunt abusive and less than dirt in my opinion, she's also completely delusional, and is so much so her children know of this particular belief. Now when I heard this ridiculousness, I didn't know what to do with it really, like what do you say and do about that? Blow up at her? Call her an insufferable pig? Dive deeper into when she started believing this, blasting her online, etc. And then, malicious compliance came to mind and the Grinch's grin smeared across my face. Starting from that day I heard this rumor, any and every time I saw her, I flirted hard. "Oh my god, auntie, aren't you the sexiest thing I've seen today?" Or "My god, uncle, I wouldn't let that beauty through your fingers. If you ever want a massage, let me know, I would love to give one to the prettiest girl here. Gosh, there is just no way you're over 50 years old. Uncle, you're a very, very lucky man," as examples. I whistle as a greeting to her, and I make sure to wink at her at least once per interaction. She doesn't know my cousin, her stepdaughter, told me about her accusation. She looks so uncomfortable every time I approach or even arrive at family gatherings, and I fucking love it. Karma's a witch. Maybe don't bully and abuse kids and fill your own children with nonsense rumors like your niece who you've known since she was 8 years old, wanting to doodle you. I'm never going to stop. I have a crush on my aunt after all. Edit. Something I didn't think I'd have to clear up is I do not have a crush on my aunt. Sarcasm is a thing. Not to mention, some have said this just makes me look bad. To who exactly? The woman telling her children that her niece wants her. My family. The dumpster fire. Y'all ever heard of a rumor so ridiculous that you just go with it? If I raised a huge fuss about it, that would have made me also look guilty with that logic. This way, I have the power, and maybe, just maybe, she'll think twice about ridiculous rumors. Edit 2. People worried this will make it worse. I don't know what to say to you really. It probably will, but before this issue I had literally never had an issue with her, always cordial, so if she can manifest this kind of BS in her head with no reason at all, then me not doing anything wouldn't have helped either. Edit 3. I will clarify, I ranted about this ridiculousness to my family that I actually care about, my sisters, my mother, and my grandmother, all of which do not speak to my aunt because of some past conflict or another. So to a degree, it's an inside joke at my aunt's expense.
OP, I want to congratulate you for sticking it to your aunt, but I think it's just a few inches too early for that. So for now, just harness up and strap in. Anyways, now for today's second story. Am I the asshole for checking out of my relationship after my girlfriend cheated on me? Posted by Reddit user Free Relationship.
Throwaways. I don't want this vent associated with my real account. I have been in a relationship with my girlfriend, Mia, for a bit more than 2 years. Overall life has been good for us, and our relationship has always felt very strong. For most of our time together, I imagined that we'd eventually get married, have kids, and grow old together. Mia has said that is what she wanted several times herself. Starting around June of this year, Mia started acting strangely. She became stressed out with her work and became very snappy towards me. I tried my best to be supportive during this time given that she had just started a new job, but she would constantly be pushing me away. I got suspicious when I started noticing how protective she was of her work phone around me. She'd be reading stuff on it all the time and always looked so happy while doing so. Whenever I would come by, she would quickly lock the screen. This continued for a few weeks, and I'm not proud to admit it, but I started shoulder surfing me whenever she'd bring out her work phone, and after about a week of this, I learned the password. What's ironic is around this time, I was also ring shopping as I planned on proposing some point in the fall, but that never panned out. So one day in August when Mia was out with some of her friends, I took this as an opportunity to go through her work phone, and what I found completely destroyed me. I really don't want to get into the details, but in summary, Mia started a relationship with one of her coworkers, Paul. From what I could tell, it went on for about 2 months. Paul kept on pressing her to leave me, but Mia seemed reluctant and kept on giving him excuses for why she couldn't leave, but reassured him that she'd continue seeing him. When Mia came home, I confronted her, and she surprisingly owned up to it. She apologized and cried more than I ever remember. She said she never meant to hurt me and that she'd take it back if she could. She claimed that her stress and depression clouded her judgment, and that Paul was a loser who couldn't compare to me. I don't remember much of the conversation, but I do remember it ending with us agreeing to take a break from each other for a few weeks so that I could gather my thoughts. She moved in with one of her friends that night. The pain and disappointment I felt over the next few weeks were crippling. Over time, I feel like I completely morphed into an angry and bitter person. I honestly don't even recognize myself sometimes. Mia returned back to my apartment at the start of October and apologized again. She said that she couldn't even imagine the pain she brought me and has vowed to never cheat again. I do believe her as she has asked Paul to not contact her unless it was work-related, and she has been trying her utmost to repair things with me. She is constantly putting in maximum effort to please me and is adamant that there is no one else she'd rather spend the rest of her life with. We have also started couples therapy on Mia's dime, but to be completely honest, I'm checked out of this relationship, as everything about Mia annoys me now, from how she looks to the sound of her voice. At this stage, I've made up my mind that I want to dump Mia. The experience has spoiled this relationship for me. I've also started chatting with some other women on dating apps. I've been on some dates and spent a few nights away. I'm 90% certain that Mia knows what I'm up to, as I have not been discreet about what I've been doing at all. For example, a few nights ago I was going on a date. I'm guessing Mia knew, as she asked me where I was going. I told her it was none of her concern. She seemed hurt by this but didn't press me any further. She'll randomly say things like "I love you" or "you mean so much to me," but I either just nod or act like I didn't hear her. I was telling a few of my friends about this last night, and they both think I should just dump her immediately since I'm wasting my own time and Mia isn't worth getting angry over. One of them suggested that I post here to gain some insights from a wider audience, since he thinks I'm being a bit of an asshole for dragging this out. So here I am. For those wondering, I'll probably be dumping her and kicking her out of my apartment at some point in January. Now for OP's first update. I ended up dumping my girlfriend last night. She was very upset, but I think she knew it was coming. She's been walking on eggshells around me since we got back from our break, and I have to admit, she was definitely trying to make things work. I'm also fairly certain she knew I was going on dates with other women for the last few weeks because I wasn't being particularly discreet about that. She did cry a little and suggested that we continue therapy, but I declined this offer as I don't think this relationship was salvageable. She's staying with one of her friends across town for now, and they'll be collecting her things on Sunday. She needs to find somewhere new to live as her friend realistically cannot house her for long, and considering how expensive and difficult it is to find somewhere, I suppose it will be tough for her for the next few weeks. I do somewhat regret wasting so much of my time keeping her around and pretending I was getting something out of therapy, but whatever, can't change the past. I'm just glad she's out of my hair now. And now, for OP's second update. My ex came by to collect her things this morning. She texted me last night asking if the morning would be better than the afternoon we had planned. I accepted this since I kinda wanted this out of the way as soon as possible. She came with one of her friends and they stayed for about an hour. We didn't talk much during that time. They just packed her things and took a few trips downstairs to put them in the car. I stayed in my home office the entire time as I didn't want to interact with them. Once they finished, my ex came back upstairs alone, left me my second mail keys on the kitchen counter and called me over to lock the door. We said our goodbyes and she left. She seemed and looked very upset throughout the entire ordeal but thankfully left quietly. It's now over. My apartment feels kinda strange now. If I'm being completely honest, I'd seriously consider moving myself if it wasn't in such a convenient location.
Well done keeping it together, OP, and I'm glad that you have a backbone and kicked her out. It's a nice breath of fresh air from all of the Sims in this world. Things will get easier over time, my friend. Just take solace in the fact that you still have your self-respect. Never lose it, OP. Good luck. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.